having a turbo that allows you to do this is so worth it. Now on to the thing that I think I have ruined the car with, and this is my own doing.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to SABtv and welcome to the old school kind of videos. In this video I'm going to talk to you guys about whether or not modifying the Abarth 500 has killed it and whether you guys should be modifying yours. But first, here she is in all her glory.
Lions roaring in the morning sun, searching for a longer day. People feeling like the light has just come. We must never stop the way. Birds chirping and I hear my name, grasping into a life. Life is happy but it's so insane. We must merely make a start. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a walk. Savannah. Lion's gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to
So we are back, guys, we are back in the Abarth. It's been 8 long days away on a holiday, which if you haven't seen, check the last video out towards the end of it, is my holiday snaps, if you like. But, right, so it's a pleasure to be back in the Abarth, I'm not gonna lie, but it hasn't been plain sailing. Here's what happened this morning when I tried to start the car. It just, nah. But that is all done now. The car is back up and running. We are back up to full charge, if that's even a thing. And the purpose of this video is to talk to you guys about whether or not modifying my Abarth 595 has ruined it. Now I'm going to break it down into 3 parts, if you like. 1, engine, 2, suspension, and 3, brakes. Let's start with brakes, because brakes is a nice easy one to kind of get out the way. The brakes themselves have not ruined the car. If anything, they've enhanced it. The only thing I would say with the brakes that you need to be careful of is that because I've gone 330mm at the front, which is pretty much overkill, it does mean that the rear under hard braking does get a little bit unstable. And I noticed that quite a bit when I was out on the road trip. I did have to do some very hard braking, and the back did feel a little light. So the brakes themselves took a battering on the road trip, but I don't think that has ruined the car at all. moving on to engine, and specifically the turbo. Now, the turbo itself, well, let's put it this way, and you can read in between the lines. So those of you who watch my videos will know that I had an issue with the turbo. It started smoking out the rear of the car, and we had to send it off to get rebuilt, and after that, it was absolutely fine. But taking this car on the road trip specifically, it performed ridiculous. The turbo itself has definitely not ruined this car. In fact, it's enhanced it. It has made it so much fun. Those of you who know me all know I love the turbo on this car. Yes, there's a bit of lag here and there, but that's not the end of the world. The issue I have with the turbo, and those of you obviously who know the car know, I have heat issues. I have some major heat issues. So much so, at the end of the last video that we did on the road trip, I mentioned this. Oh, I have not, let's put it this way. I have driven this car for the last 2.5 hours, significantly at the high end of the rev range, and I'm not gonna lie, it did feel relatively uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm gonna save that for another video because it's definitely a topic for discussion when you're thinking about modified cars. Now, what did I mean by that? Well, let me break it down for you. Pretty much, we didn't have much time to get back to the ferry. That wasn't, you know, just for the show. It wasn't just for the video. We genuinely really were up against the clock, which meant that I had to drive this thing at the higher end of the rev range, and you guys know we don't have a 6th gear. I wish we had a 6th gear. So that meant that I was driving with a Lotus Evora, a Golf R, a C63 AMG, and we were hooning down the motorway, trying to get basically to the ferry to allow us to get on, and we were running out of time. So I literally was driving this car very, very high up the rev range for almost 2.5 hours, and that was constant. That was very, very uncomfortable for me. I really did not enjoy doing that. These cars are not made to be driven at that kind of RPM for that long. Even more so when you start to play around with things like turbos, and if you already have a heat issue, it's probably not a good thing for me to be running this at boost for 2.5 hours. Now, I was worried about things, for example, melting. I was worried about something going bang. There was so many things that were running through my mind at the time. And obviously at the higher end of the rev range, I was pretty much on boost pretty much all the time. Lucky for me, nothing happened. The car was fine. We did pull up to the ferry, and the first thing I did was to open the bonnet and let the thing cool down. And I'm not even joking. You could cook a complete barbecue for a family of 10 on there. It was that hot. But other than heat aside, having a turbo that allows you to do this is so worth it. Oh yeah, so heat is an issue. Heat is an issue on this car. But yeah, I do not think that upgrading the turbo itself specifically has ruined the car. Now on to the thing that I think I have ruined the car with. And this is my own doing. It's the VMAX coilovers, it's the suspension itself. Now, out of the complete time I've had with this car, owning it, and since I modified it and I put the camber on, put the coilovers pretty low, so the car is running very low, as you guys know from Instagram and from this video, you would have seen it. There has probably been only one instance where I've actually used the camber and used the suspension to its full capacity, and that was on the road trip. And the reason was because the roads out there were so twisty that it was actually worth having it. 99% of the time when I'm driving this car around the city, around towns, etc., I'm not going to be sitting there hooning around corners quickly. I'm not going to need the camber. I'm not going to need the suspension to be so stiff and so low. I just don't need it. It looks good, but I think it is compromised. I mean, even now, you know, you can feel it. My voice box is going, you know, I think the suspension has compromised the car a little bit, and I think I have ruined it with that. Now, I know the guys from Modified Abarth, if they're watching this, are probably tearing their hair out because Adam will be saying, you need to get Bilstein B14 rears and all that kind of stuff. And you're right, I really do need to pull my finger out, Adam. But I just, at the moment, the way the car is, the way its current state, and I want to be truthful with you. I want you guys to know, I want you guys to be on, I want to be honest with you. Don't get VMAX coilovers, or if you are going to get VMAX coilovers, get them with the B14 rears. These here, they jingle like there's no tomorrow. Honestly, it's like a Christmas carol every time I drive this. It's just like jingle bells. They are literally knock like there's no tomorrow. I literally hate these coilovers, other than when I used it for the road trip. But again, balancing the two, having coilovers is, you know, I look back when I had the Kony FSDs and they were great. The ride comfort was good. I killed it again with the Novatec springs because there was no travel on the bump stop. So if you've got Kony FSDs, get some H&R springs or IBAC springs just to lower it a bit, and that is pretty much all you need in our car. Seriously, it's all you need. Unless you're tracking the car, you don't really need coilovers. Save your money, in my opinion. Again, that's my truthful opinion and what I've experienced. So in summary, has modifying the Abarth 595 ruined it? I think changing the suspension to the way I have changed it has ruined the car. Having the turbo and being able to do this definitely hasn't. However, if I was to put it into fourth, right now, fourth gear, 40 miles an hour, foot to floor, it's building, but it takes a long time. So I've talked about it before, the lag on this turbo is probably the only real little downside. But the brakes, again, the brakes I've got are pretty much overkill. You don't need those kind of brakes. Go for like 305s is more than you need. You don't need to go 330. Yes, it looks good. It makes the steering heavier, believe it or not, having those big discs and those big brakes, it does make the front steering heavier. It makes the rear of the car a little bit imbalanced. You don't need it. Again, my own truthful opinion. But guys, I still absolutely love this little car. I love what I've done to it. Yes, it's got its niggles. Yes, I've probably killed the suspension. I need to sort it out. I need to pull my finger out. But it's still an awesome little car. Now, if you guys follow me on Instagram or on Twitter, follow me on Twitter because my Twitter game is really weak, guys. At Stef AB TV. Please follow me on there. But if you do, you would have seen that I tweeted this. And there are some exciting things. There are some exciting things coming very, very soon. Now, we will talk about that more on Wednesday, which is the Stef AB TV Catch-Up TV, episode 1, first one anyway, where we're going to talk about some stuff that's coming up, because there's some good things coming up on the channel, and I'm very excited. But that's the end of today's video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, I'll see you all on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.